What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can automate a social media marketing agency using make.com. Let's get started. On Whimsical, I've outlined all the processes that we're going to be automating in this video. The first process that we're going to automate is the process of capturing leads and adding the leads to a project management tool. Here, we are going to capture leads that are coming from a lead magnet, ads, website, emails, or referrals using Typeform and adding the leads to monday.com. The leads will fill up a form and they'll also schedule a discovery call where you'll jump on a discovery call with these leads and see if you can help them. After we have captured the leads and added them to monday.com, we'll send them a confirmation email that we have received their data. Now, after capturing the leads via Typeform and adding them to monday.com and sending the confirmation email to our leads, the next process will be you jumping on a phone call with these prospects and see if you can help them. If you can help them, we can begin the next process, which is the onboarding of these clients. This is the next process that we're going to automate for a social media marketing agency. We're going to automate the client onboarding process, where the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a clients folder on Google Drive where we will add all the assets that we'll need from our client. So the assets could be their logos, their brief documents, or any other documents that we may require from our client. After creating the client folder, the next process that we'll automate is a proposal and contract generation process, where here we'll create a proposal and a contract and auto-populate the documents with the client's information from Monday after we onboard the client. And lastly, we'll automate the billing and invoicing process, where we'll generate invoices using Stripe and send the invoices to our client via email. We'll also set up an automated payment reminder for overdue invoices. After we have onboarded the client, the next process that we'll automate for a social media marketing agency is a content calendar setup. Here, we'll create an automation that sends a scheduling link to our client to schedule a call to plan for a content calendar. So this will be a one-on-one call where you and the client will create the content calendar together. And then after the call, you will send the summary and the updates to your team. After we have automated the content calendar setup process, the next step will be creating the content for this client. This will be a manual process where you'll follow up with your team and ensuring the content is created according to schedule. After the content has been created, the next process that we'll automate for a social media marketing agency is the content scheduling and publishing. On this stage, we are going to get the content that our team created from a Google Drive folder and schedule it on social media platforms using a scheduling tool. The next process that we're going to automate is the paid campaigns ad approval process, where here we'll create an automation that automatically notifies the client when the ad drafts are ready. So we'll send this notification to our clients to approve the ad so they can be published. After we have automated the paid campaigns ad approval process, the next process that we'll automate is the influencer outreach and collaboration process, where here we'll create an automation that scrapes Instagram influencers and then adds their data to monday.com and then pulls their data from Monday and sends them a personalized email asking the influencers if they would like to collaborate for a project. The next process that we'll automate for a social media marketing agency is the client feedback and review process, where here we'll send an email to our client after the project milestone has been reached. We'll send the client a survey form from Typeform to gather responses from our clients and other responses to monday.com. And the last process that we'll automate for a social media marketing agency is the upselling process, where here we'll set up an automation that sends an email to our clients about new services based on engagement or historical data. Let us begin creating automations, automating a social media marketing agency. The first process that we're going to automate is the process of capturing leads using Typeform and adding the leads to monday.com. On Typeform, I've created this form that I've renamed to Social Media Marketing Agency Lead Capture Form. On this form, we will ask our leads to fill in their personal information right here and schedule for a discovery call session. We're asking them to fill in their first name, last name, phone number, email, and their company. We're also asking them to schedule for a discovery call. Here's where they'll choose a time in our calendar. Now, after they fill in their details right here, we're going to create an automation on make.com that will get their data from Typeform and add their data on Monday. On Monday, I've created a board that I've renamed smma clients. So here's where we're going to collect all our agency clients over here. After we've collected them from Typeform, we are collecting their full name. We're also going to assign them to a member of our team. We're collecting the date they were added on our board, the last time they were updated, their status, and on status we have intake, onboard, content calendar, ad approval, client feedback, and client upsell as the status of each of our clients. Now, we're also collecting their first name, last name, company name, their email, and their phone number. After we've collected the information right here on Typeform, we'll add it on Monday by setting up an automation on make.com. On make.com, I've created a folder and renamed the folder to Social Media Marketing Agency System. So here is where we'll create all our automations, automating a social media marketing agency. Let us create our first automation where we are automating adding clients information to monday.com. I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to add clients info to monday.com using Typeform. Since we are collecting information from Typeform, the first app that I'll search over here is Typeform, and our trigger is going to be watch responses. Now here we have two watch response triggers. Now the first trigger, you will have to choose when you like to trigger your automation, but the one with instant, it instantly triggers after the form has been submitted. I'll use the watch response acid where I'll choose when I would like to trigger automation. Here, you'll need to create a connection between your Typeform account and make.com account just by clicking on add and then renaming your connection right here. Then after you've renamed your connection, click on save, and a new window will be prompted where you will choose the account that you like to link to make.com, and then click on OK, and then click on save, and your connection will have been created. But since I had already created a connection, I'm going to close and choose my connection right here. Now, after choosing my account, here we'll choose our form ID. Now, our form ID is Social Media Marketing Agency Lead Capture Form. And then here I'll click on OK. And you can see that our trigger is asking me when I would like to start. So you can start from now since a specific date, or choose manually. Like to start from now. So I'll click on OK. On our form on Typeform, here I'll click on share. Then here, copy the link of our form and then paste it on a new tab. On a new tab, we'll fill in our form. I'm going to click on start. And then here we can enter a personal information for an example lead. For example, here we can choose the first name of our lead as Esther Martinez. And we can add their phone number right here. And here we can add their email address. The email address is esthermartinez@annex.com. And the company they work in is called Annex Corporations. Then here I'll click on OK. You will be prompted to choose a time on our calendar to schedule for a discovery call. So here we can choose a date and time that we like for the discovery call to happen. So we can say like on Sunday. Since it's just an example, I'm going to choose a 1 a.m. You'll see the details of our lead or client. So we're getting their name right here and their email. Now to schedule for the event, I'm going to click on schedule event. And our session will have been created. You can see our form is telling us, thank you for taking the time to complete this form. Check out your email for a confirmation email. When you go to our automation right here and run this module, you'll see the details of our lead. So we're getting their first name, last name, their phone number, their email, the company they work in, and the calendar event that they just scheduled on our calendar. Now we can add this information to monday.com. So here, first thing I'll do, I'll delay this module for 3 seconds. So on tools, I'll search for sleep, and here I'll delay for 3 seconds to give it time to populate its data so you can add the data on monday.com. And then here, I'll search for Monday and then search for create an item module and click on create an item. Like we did previously on Typeform, you'll also need to create a connection between make.com and monday.com. To create a connection, click on add, and then here you'll rename your connection. And after you've renamed your connection, you'll need to add your API key over here from Monday. To get your API key, on Monday, click on your profile, then click on administration, click on connection, then click on API, and here you'll find your API token. All you have to do is just copy it and come and paste your API key right here. After you've pasted your API key, click on save to connect your monday.com account to make.com. But since I had already created a connection right here, I'm going to close and just choose my connection right here. Now, for the item name, we can choose to add their first name and their last name. So for the item name, I'm going to add their first name, then space, add their last name. Then for the board ID, I'm going to choose SMMA clients, since this is the board that we are adding our clients. And then for the group ID, I'm going to choose agency clients. And then here, we can begin choosing columns on Monday and adding their values from Typeform. The first column I'll choose is the assignee column, where I'll assign these clients to a member of our team. In this case, it's just going to be me. So here I'll choose person. And for the ID, I'm going to choose myself. And then here, I'll add a new item, then choose a different column. In this case, we're going to choose company as a column, and we're going to add the value of the company, which is an X right here. Then I'll add a new item, then choose a new column. The new column is going to be date created, where for the date, I'm going to add the submitted at dates, then add a new item, then choose a new column. The new column is going to be email, where here I will add the values for their email, which is Esther Martinez. You can also use the email as a text, so I'll also add the value of the email right here. Then add a new item and choose a new column. This time I'm going to choose first name as a column, and add the value for the first name, which is Esther. Then add a new item, then add a new column. This time I'm going to choose last name as a column, and then choose the value for the last name, which is Martinez. And then add a new item, and then choose a new column. And then this time I'm going to choose phone to add their phone number. And then here I'm going to add the value for the phone number, which is the phone number right here. Then for the country code, I'm going to add US as a country code. And lastly, I'll add a new item and choose a new column. I'll choose status as a column. And here I'm going to label our new leads as intake, since they are on the intake stage. Then I'll click on OK. After we've received their data right here and we've added them on Monday, we'll also like to send them a confirmation email using the email that they just submitted right here. So here, I'll search for email, then click on send an email module. And then here, I'll rename this email to confirmation email, and then click on OK. Now, on the confirmation email, here, we'll add the email address from the email address that we got from Typeform. And then the subject line of the email could be in the lines of confirming your call with socially savvy marketing. So this is the name of our agency. And then for the content type, I'll choose plain text. And then the content of the email, I'll say hi, first name. And I'll add their first name right here. And then the rest of the email could be on the lines of thank you for scheduling a call with us. We're looking forward to connecting with you and discussing how we can help elevate your social media presence and drive impactful results for your business. If there's anything you'd like us to focus on during the call, feel free to reply to this email with any details. Looking forward to chatting with you. Best regards, Jessica at Socially Savvy Marketing. Then click on OK. So this is the confirmation email that we are sending to our lead after they have submitted their form on Typeform. To test if automation works, I will not fill in our information again. Instead, I'll choose our previous submission. So on Typeform, I'll choose where to start and then choose manually. And then I'll choose on our previous submission and click on OK. Now let us add Esther to our Monday.com CRM. I'll run once. You can see that automation ran successfully. Here, we got our previous submission of Esther, and we delayed for 30 seconds. Then we added them to Monday and sent them the confirmation email. When we go to our SMMA clients board, you'll see we have a new client right here. Her name is Esther Martinez. We just added them right now. The status is intake, and we got their first name, last name, company name, the email, and their phone number right here. We also sent them the confirmation email with the subject line confirming your call to Socially Savvy Marketing. And this is the content of the email that we are sending to Esther. With this simple automation, we've automated the first process of a social media marketing agency, which is capturing the leads via Typeform and adding the leads to money.com and also sending them a follow-up email. The second process that we're going to automate for a social media marketing agency is a client onboarding process, where we're going to automate the proposal and contract generation, the client folder creation, and the invoice generation using make.com. To set up a client onboarding system on our social media marketing agency system, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to client onboarding system. I'll create a webhook that will be triggered after the status of one of our clients changes to onboard. So here, I'll search for webhook, then click on custom webhook. Here, I'll click on add, then I'll rename our webhook to client onboarding. And then here I'll click on save. And here I'll copy the link of our webhook and then click on OK. And then on Monday, I'll click on integrate. And then here, I'll click on webhooks. And then I'd like to send a webhook after the status of one of our clients changes to something. So here, I'll use these as our template. And then here, I'll click on use another account. And then here, I'll paste the webhook URL that we just copied from Make. And then here, I'll run our webhook. And then on Monday, I'll click on connect. And he says fail to communicate with the URL provided. To connect our webhook, we'll need to return this challenge text using a webhook response. So on webhooks, I'll click on webhook response. And then here, I'll add two curly braces. And then here I'll write challenge. And then here I'll return this text. Then click on OK. And then I'll run our webhook again. On Monday, I'll click on connect. And you can see that it ran successfully. Here, I'll delete the webhook response. On Monday, I'll set up a webhook. So here, we like to send a webhook when the status of one of our clients changes to onboard. And then I'll click on create automation. Let us test if our webhook works. So I'll run our webhook. Then here, I'll change the status of one of our clients to onboard. You can see that it ran successfully when we are getting the specific client whose status we just changed, but we are not getting the rest of their data like their email, their phone number, their first and last name, or the company they work in. Now, to get the rest of their data here, I'll copy this pulse ID and then I'll add a new module. And then on Monday, I'm going to search for get an item module and click on get an item. Here, I'll choose my connection. And for the ID, we're going to add the pulse ID. And then for the board ID, we're going to choose our smma clients, and then click on OK. Now here, I'll run this module by pasting the pulse ID that we copied from our webhook and click on OK. And you can see now we are getting the rest of their data right here. So we are getting their first name, last name, company name, their email, and their phone number. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a client folder where they will add their materials to the folder. So they can add the materials like their logos and all the necessary documents that we might need from them as we create content or ads for their business. So here, I'm going to search for Google Drive. Then here, I'll create a folder. Here, I'll choose our folder location. So I'll choose Lax Automation. Then I'll choose our client's folder name. So I'll add their first name and I'll say this is their folder. So this will be Esther's folder. And then I'll click on OK. And then here, I'll rename this folder to client's folder. And then click on OK. The next thing we're going to do, we are going to create a proposal and a contract that we're going to send to our client. On PandaDoc, I've created a social media marketing contract template and a social media marketing proposal template. So these are the templates that we're going to use to create our proposal and contract. So here, you'll see the social media marketing contract template that we created for our clients. All we have to do on Make is populate the client's data with our template and send it to them for them to sign. This is a social media marketing contract template, and this is a social media marketing proposal template right here. So these are templates that I got from PandaDoc, and I chose to use them as our template for this video. So here's where we'll add our signature, and the client will add their signature right here. So we're going to use these templates to create our proposal and our contract. On Make, I'll search for PandaDoc, then click on Create a Document. Like we did previously with Monday and Typeform, you'll need to create a connection between PandaDoc and Make.com. To create a connection between PandaDoc and Make, just click on Add, then rename your connection right here, then click on Save. And a new window will be prompted where you'll choose a specific account that you'd like to link to Make.com. But since I had already created my connection, I'm going to close and choose my connection right here. And then here, I'm going to give our document a name. So here, I'm going to say this document is Esther's proposal. Then for the template ID, I'm going to choose our social media marketing proposal template. And then here, I'm going to send the document via email, so we don't need to send the document over here. So here, I just click on OK. And then here, if I run this module and add Esther's name and click on OK, we can see we are creating Esther's proposal right here. And this is the document ID. Now, we'll proceed to download these proposal. So on PandaDoc, I'm going to search for download a document. Then for the document ID, I'm going to add the document ID right here. Click on OK. So here, I renamed this module to Create Proposal. Click on OK. Then for this module, I will rename it to Download Proposal. Then click on OK. We'll do the same with contract. So on PandaDoc, I'm going to create a document. This time around, I'm going to name it to our client's first name and say contract. Then for the template ID, we're going to choose social media marketing contract template. Then here, I'm going to click on OK. Now here, we can run this module and see if we're going to get our contract. So here, I'll add the first name as Esther and click on OK. You can see we are creating our document right here. So this is the ID of our contract and this is the name of our contract. Now we can also download our contract. So on PandaDoc, I'm going to click on download documents and I'll add the ID of our contract. And then here I'll click on OK. Now here I'll rename our module to create contract. Then here I'll click on OK. Then on this module I'll rename it to download contract. And then here I'll click on OK. Now that we have created our clients folder, our proposal, and our contract, we'll proceed to create our client on Stripe and then proceed to create an invoice for them so that we can send it to them via email. Here, I'll add another module and then I'll search for Stripe. And then here, I'll create a customer. So for the description, you can say social media marketing services. The email address, you can add the email address from Monday right here. And then for the name, you can add their first and then space, last name. And for the phone number, we can add their phone number right here. You can add the address if you have the address, but I'm going to just click on OK. Then after creating our customer, we're going to create a payment intent. So here, I'll click on create a payment intent. For the amount, here we can add the amount that we're charging them. Say we're charging them $2,000, but one thing you need to note right here is the amount that you add right here is in cents. So we'll need to add 2 extra zeros to convert the amount into dollars. So the 200,000 right here is equivalent to $2,000. For the currency, we're using USD as our currency. You can add our description as social media marketing services. And then for the recipient email, you can add the recipient email from under here. Here, you can confirm this payment intent immediately. You can add the customer ID from our create a customer module. And add the rest of the data if you have the data, and click on OK. And now we can proceed to create an invoice that we're going to send to our client. So here, I'm going to search for invoice and click on create an invoice. ID, we're going to add the customer ID from the create a customer module. Then here, for the collection method, we can either choose to charge automatically or to send an invoice. If you're going to choose send an invoice, so here you'll need to create days until due. So here we can say, let's say 3 days until due. And then you can add the due date also if you want to. But I'm going to choose to click on OK. And then here, I'll proceed to create an email that will send them the contract, the proposal, the client folder, and the invoice via email. So here, I'll search for email. And then here I'll click on send an email module. For the email address, we're going to add the email address from Monday here. Then the subject line of the email could be on the lines of next step, proposal, contract, and project resources. And the content type, we're going to choose plain text. And the content of the email can say hi, first name. The first name is this first name right here. I'm excited to share the proposal and the next steps for our project together. Below, you'll find everything you need to get started. The first thing we're sending them is a proposal. We were telling them, please review the proposal document here. Then we'll add the downloaded document of our proposal. And then for the contract, we're telling them you can review and sign the contract right here. We'll also add the downloaded contract over here. The third thing that we're sending them the client folder, where we're telling them we've set up a shared folder on Google Drive for all project documents and assets. You can access it right here. Then here, we'll add the web view link of the folder. So this is the link that they'll use to access the folder. And then the thing that we're telling them is we have created an invoice via Stripe, and they can complete the payment at their own convenience using this link over here. Then we can add the invoice link from our create an invoice module right here. And then the rest of the email could be on the lines of, once the contract is signed and the initial payment is completed, we'll begin moving forward with your project. Let me know if you have any questions or need clarification on any of the documents. Looking forward to getting started. Best regards, Jessica. After we've sent them this email, we can also send them another email reminding them to pay their invoice if they wouldn't have paid their invoice yet. So on Stripe, I'll search for invoice. Here I will add their customer ID. Customer ID, we're going to get the customer ID from the create a customer module. The status of the invoice, we're going to choose open. And then for the collection method, we're going to choose to charge them automatically. And we can limit it to 1 instead of 100. And click on OK. I'll search for email and click on send an email module, where here I'll rename this module to payment reminder. Then click on OK. Now for the payment email reminder, the email address, we're going to get the email address from Monday. So here we'll add this email address from Monday right here. The subject line was friendly reminder, invoice payment due. And with the content type, we're going to choose plain text. And the content of the email, we can say, hi, first name. I wanted to reach out with a gentle reminder regarding the recent invoice, which was due yesterday. So we're going to send this payment reminder email 1 day after the due date has passed. The rest of the email could be on the lines. We understand that things get busy, and if the payment slips through the crack, no worries. You can complete the payment here at your own convenience. Then we're adding the link of our invoice right here. And then we're telling them, if you've already sent the payment, please disregard this message. Otherwise, feel free to reach out if you have any questions or need any assistance. Thank you for your attention and looking forward to continuing our work together. Best regards, Jessica. Then click on OK. Now here, we'll set up a filter. We can label it to payment reminder. The first condition, we can say that the amount due has to exist. So here we'll say amount due exists. And we can also add another condition and say that the due date has to post. So here we can say that the date is equal to, and then on our calendar, I'll click on add days. Here, we'll add the due date, which is this due date right here. And then here we'll add a 1 day. So we're going to send this payment reminder 1 day after the due date has passed. So here, allow to align our automation, and we can test it and see if automation works. To test if our automation works, here, I'll run our automation. On Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to onboard. Here, you can see that our automation ran successfully. We triggered our webhook after we changed the status of one of our clients to onboard. And then we got their data, we proceeded to create our clients folder, we created our proposal and downloaded it. We also created our contract and downloaded it. And then we proceeded to create our invoice and send the clients folder link, the proposal, the contract, and the invoice via this email right here. The subject line of the email is next step, proposal, contract, and project resources. So automation works perfectly. And 1 day after the due date has passed, we'll send them the payment reminder email. So with this simple automation, we've automated the client onboarding process for a social media marketing agency. The next process that we're going to automate after automating the client onboarding process is the content calendar setup process, where here I'm going to create an automation that sends the client an email with a scheduling link so the client can schedule for a call to set up a content calendar. So on our social media marketing agency system folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to content calendar setup. And here I'll create a webhook that will be triggered after the status of one of our clients changes to content calendar. So here I'll search for webhooks, then click on custom webhook. Here I'll click on add, and then I'll rename our webhook to content calendar setup webhook. Then here I'll click on save. Then I'll copy the link of this webhook and then click on OK. Then on Monday, I'll click on integrate. And then I'll click on webhooks. And I would like to send a webhook after the status of one of our clients changes to content calendar. So I'll use this as our template. Then here I'll use another account. And then here I'll paste the URL of the webhook that we just copied from make. So I'll paste the webhook right here, run our webhook. Then on Monday, I'll click on connect. It says fail to communicate with the URL provided. So here we need to return these challenge tags using a webhook response. So on webhooks, I'll click on webhook response. I'll add 2 curly braces. And here I'll write challenge. And then here I'll add our text and then click on OK. Then I'll run our webhook again. Then on Monday, I'll click on connect. You can see that it ran successfully. Here we can delete the response and proceed to set up our webhook. So we would like to send our webhook when the status of one of our clients changes to content calendar. Then here I'll click on create automation. We can test our webhook if it works perfectly. So I'll run our webhook, then change the status of one of our clients to content calendar. You can see here we're getting the specific client whose status we just changed. But we're not getting the rest of their data, like their email, their phone number, the first or last name of the company they work in. Now to get the rest of their data, I'll copy this pulse ID, and then on Monday, I'll search for get an item module and click on get an item. Now here, I'll choose a connection, and then for the ID, I'm going to add the pulse ID, and then for the board ID, I'm going to choose smma clans, then click on OK. Now to test if our webhook works, I'll run this module and paste the pulse ID that we copied earlier and click on OK. And now you can see that we're getting the rest of their data over here. So we're getting their first name, last name, company name, their email, and their phone number. Now with their data, we can proceed and create a scheduling link that we're going to send to our client for them to schedule for a call to set up a content calendar with you. So here, I'll search for Calendly, then click on Calendly. Then here, I'll click on create a scheduling link. Here you can choose an event count, you can say 1. And then for the event type, you can choose to create an event type that is closely related to the event. So yeah, I'm going to choose client interview, then click on OK. And then here, we can proceed to send our client this link via email. So here I'll search for email and then click on send an email module. And then here, we can rename this module to scheduling email. Then click on OK. Now here, for the email address, we're going to add the email address from Monday. So this email address right here. The subject line of our email could be in the lines of let's schedule a call to plan your content calendar. And then for the content type, we're choosing plain text. And the content, we can say hi, first name. The first name, this first name right here. As you get ready to populate your content calendar, it will be great to set up a time to go over your ideas, preferences, and goals for the upcoming months. This will help ensure that we are aligned and ready to move forward effectively. Please use the link below to schedule a call at your convenience. Then here, we can add the link for them that they will use to schedule a call, which is this booking URL. And the rest of the email could be in the lines of once we finalize the details on the call, I'll send an update to the team to start implementing the plan. Let me know if you have any specific topics or ideas in mind beforehand. Looking forward to our conversation. Best regards, Jessica. And here I'll click on OK. Now to test if automation works, I'll run our automation. And then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to calendar. And here you can see that automation ran successfully. We triggered our webhook after we changed the status of one of our clients to content calendar. And then we got their data right here. And then we created a scheduling link right here. And then we send the scheduling link to our client via this email right here with the subject line, let's schedule a call to plan your content calendar. And this is the email that we're sending to our client right here. And the link that they're going to use to schedule for a call is this link over here. So with this simple automation, we've automated the content calendar setup process. Now the next step will be the content creation process. Here, you'll communicate one-on-one with your team and follow up to ensure that the content is created according to the schedule. Now, after the content has been created, the next process that we'll automate for a social media marketing agency is a content scheduling and publishing process, where here we're going to use a social media scheduling tool to schedule our content on social media platforms. To create a content scheduling and publishing automation, I'll click on create a new scenario. Here, I'll rename our scenario to content scheduling and publishing. After the content has been created, the content will be added in a certain folder on our Google Drive. In order to schedule it or publish it automatically, we'll need to watch the specific folder on Google Drive. Then after we've watched the folder, we're going to get the content. And then after we've gotten the content, we're going to schedule the content on social media using a scheduling tool. So here, I'll search for Google Drive, and then click on watch files in a folder or trigger. We're going to watch files by created time. And then here, I'll select the folder that we like to watch. In our case, I'm going to choose likes automation as our folder. And then for the file types, I'm going to choose all. And then here you can set a limit. In our case, I'll choose 2 and click on OK. So here, I'm not going to add files in our folder since I already have a file. So here, I'm going to choose where to start and choose manually and choose an image that is in our folder right here. So now I'm going to assume that I just added an image on our folder. So here, I'll run this module. And you can see we are getting our image on our folder here. Now, in our example, we're going to try and post this image on social media. So the first thing we're going to do here, I'll create a link for our image. So I'll search for get a share link module. And then here, I'll add the file ID. File ID will be file ID of our image. The role, you can say in a role right here. And then for the type, you can say in one with the link. And then click on OK. And then the next thing I'll do is on HTTP, I'm going to click on get a file module. And for the URL, I'm going to add the share link and click on OK. I'll choose where to start again and then choose our image. here, click on OK, and then run automation again. You can see that we got our image right here. Then we created the link of our image right here. And then we got our image right here. Our status was 200, that means it ran successfully. Then proceed and post our image on social media. So here, since we would like to post the image on social media platforms, on flow control, I'm going to click on router, and then we can add for route. Since we are posting our image on 4 social media platforms, the first one will be for Facebook. So I'm going to search for Facebook. Then on Facebook page, I'll click on create a post with photos module. And then here, I'll do the same with Instagram, where here, I'll search for Instagram for business. Then I'll create a photo post. And then I'll do the same for LinkedIn. I'll search for LinkedIn. Then click on LinkedIn. Then here I'll create a user image post. Then for Twitter, I'll search for Twitter. Then I'll go to the previous version. And then here I'll click on upload the media module. And then here on Twitter, I'll go back to the new version and click on create a post. On Facebook, all you have to do is just choose a page, and then for the photos, just choose the image right here and write a caption. And then add a message if you want, and then click on OK. And then click on OK. And do the same with Instagram. You can choose a page right here, add the photo URL, and then add the caption, and then click on OK. And do the same for LinkedIn, and do the same for Twitter right here. You can add attachments, then choose our get a file module, and then click on OK. And then here, click on OK. And then now we can proceed to create a post right here. Or we're adding our text content and say social media post, just as an example, and then click on OK. After you've connected your social media accounts right here, and you've linked your image to each social media platform, we can proceed to schedule our posts using a scheduling tool. In our case, I'll use this tool called Vista Social. It's a tool that I've used previously that I use to schedule social media posts. I'll search for Vista Social, and then here, I'll click on schedule a new post module. So Vista Social is an incredible tool that you can use to schedule social media posts on each social media platform. So here we can schedule our Facebook post. We can also clone it here to schedule our Instagram post. We can also clone it to schedule our LinkedIn post, and clone it to schedule our Twitter post. After you've created your connection and scheduled your post using Vista Social, every single time you add an image or a video on our folder, it will be automatically scheduled for posting on each social media platform using Vista Social right here. So with this simple automation that we just created, we've automated the content scheduling and publishing process for a social media marketing agency. Automating the content scheduling and publishing process, the next process that we're going to automate is the ad approval notification process. We're going to create an automation that notifies our client that the ads have been created and the drafts are ready. So the client can proceed to take a look at the ads and approve the ads. On our social media marketing agency system folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename this scenario to paid campaigns ad approval workflow. And then here, I'll create a webhook that is triggered after the status of one of our clients changes to ad approval. So here, I'll search for webhooks, then click on custom webhook. Here, I'll click on add, and then I'll rename our webhook to ad approval workflow. And then here, I'll click on save. Then here, I'll copy the link of our webhook and click on OK. And then on Monday, I'll click on integrate. Then here I'll click on webhooks. I'd like to send a webhook after the status of one of our clients changes to ad approval. So I'll use this as our template. Here, I'll use another account, then paste the webhook URL that we just copied on make right here. I'll run our webhook. Then on Monday, I'll click on connect. Here you can see it says fail communicate with the URL provided. So here, we'll return this challenge text using a webhook response. Okay, so here, I'll add 2 curly braces, and then here write challenge. And here, I'll add our text, then click on OK. So here I'll run our webhook. Then on Monday, I'll click on connect. You can see that it runs successfully. So here I'll delete our webhook response. Then set up a webhook. So here I like to send a webhook when the status of one of our clients changes to add approval. And then here I'll click on create automation. Now let us test if our webhook works. So I'll run our webhook. On Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to add approval. You can see that our webhook ran successfully and we are getting the specific client whose status we just changed. So to get the rest of their data, I'll copy this pulse ID. Then here, I'll search for Monday and search for get an item module and click on get an item. Here, I'll choose my connection. And for the ID, I'm going to add our pulse ID. And then for the board ID, I'm going to choose smma clients as our board ID and click on OK. And now here, I'll run this module and paste the pulse ID that we copied earlier on a webhook right here and click on OK. And now you can see that we're getting the rest of our data right here. So we're getting the first name, last name, company name, email, and the phone number right here. Now we can proceed to create an email notification that we're going to send to our clients to approve the ads. So here, I'll search for email, then click on send an email module. I'll rename this module to add approval email, and then click on OK. Now for our email, here we'll add the recipient's email for Monday right here. The subject line of the email could be on the lines of add draft ready for review in your Google Drive folder. The content type we're choosing plain text, and the content of the email that we're sending to our clients is on the lines of hi, first name. We're adding the first name right here. I'm pleased to let you know that the add drafts are now available for your review in your designated Google Drive folder. Please take a look when you have a moment. Let us know if everything looks good or if there are any adjustments you'd like to make. Once we have your approval, we'll move forward with the launch right away. Looking forward to your feedback. Best regards, Jessica. And then here I'll click on OK. Now to test if automation works perfectly, here I'll run automation. Then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to add approval. And you can see that it ran successfully. We triggered our webhook after we changed the status of one of our clients to add approval. Then we got their data right here and we sent them this email right here with the subject line, add drafts ready for review in your Google Drive folder. And then this is the content of the email that we are sending to our client, notifying them that the ads have already been created, they're in our folder, and we're asking them to take a look when they have some time to approve our ads. So with this simple automation, we've automated the ad approval notification to our clients. The next process that we're going to automate is the influencer outreach and collaboration process, where we're going to create an automation that scrapes emails of Instagram influencers, then adds the influencers to monday.com, and then proceeds to send them a personalized email asking them for a collaboration. To automate the influencer outreach process, on our social media marketing agency system folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. Here, I'll rename our scenario to influencer outreach and collaboration. So I'll scrape influencers from Instagram using this tool called Apify. Apify is an incredible tool with pre-built actors that you can use to scrape any website or automate projects. So here, I'll search for the website that we like to scrape. In this case, we're scraping Instagram. So I'll search for Instagram. And then I'll click on search. So you can see right here, we have 102 tools that you can use to perform a particular action on Instagram. So you can scrape profiles, posts, reels, hashtags, comments, followers, mentions, videos. But the tool that I'm looking for is this tool that I'll use to scrape emails. So I'll click on this tool. And here you can add the keyword that you'd like to use to scrape Instagram users. So I'll add fashion as our keyword right here. You can also add the location, the social network, which is Instagram. You can also add the email types. You can add the Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, or other emails with domains right here. Now, to scrape emails using our tool right here, I'll click on save and start. Here, you can see that our tool is running and it's getting our data right here. Emails from Instagram user accounts right here. So here, we can about our tool. So you can see that it scraped 30 emails from these Instagram accounts right here. We are getting the emails, the title of the accounts, the description, and the link to the Instagram account. So here we are getting the information like their followers, their following, their posts, their email address, and the name of the account. Now, to add these emails to our database, on Monday, I've created a board that I've renamed to influencers. And here, I've renamed this group to influencer list. So here is where we're going to add our influencers that we just scraped. We're collecting their emails, their title, their description, and the Instagram account link. To automate the process of scraping emails using our tool right here and adding the emails to our influencer board right here and sending them a personalized email, here on automation, I'll search for Apify. Then here, I'll search for run an actor. Like we did previously, you'll need to create a connection between Apify and make.com by clicking on add and then renaming your connection over here and then adding your API token right here. Get your API token, click on settings, and then click on API and integration. And then here you'll find your personal API tokens. All you have to do is copy it and then paste your API token right here and then click on save. But since I had already created a connection, I'm going to close and then choose my connection right here. Now here, I'm going to choose an actor. Our actor is the Instagram email scraper tool. Here I'm going to choose to run synchronously. Then we can input our JSON right here. On our tool, you'll see where it says JSON. And then here, copy our JSON. On make, we'll paste our JSON right here. And then here, I'll click on OK. This module, we are only going to scrape our emails. Now to get the emails on Apify, I'll click on get a dataset item module, where here we'll add the dataset ID. And then here we're going to choose a default dataset ID. And then for the limit, you can limit it to, let's say, 5. Then click on OK. I'm not going to run our module right here, because if we run our module, it's going to scrape every single account on Instagram with the keyword fashion. And as you guys said, there are millions of accounts that use the keyword fashion. And on Apify, where it says runs, I'm going to choose our most recent run, which is this run right here. And then on storage, I'm going to copy our dataset ID over here. And this is a dataset ID that I'm going to add right here. You can even limit it to 10. Then click on OK. Now instead of running it, I'm going to unlink this and then choose to run this module only over here. And you can see we are getting our accounts that we scraped their emails over here. So we are getting the email address, the title, the description of the account, including the username, the followers, their following, and the number of posts that they have on their page. And now here, we can proceed to add our influencers to Monday.com. So on Monday, I'm going to search for create an item module and click on create an item. I'll choose my connection. And for the item name, I'm going to add the email address right here. For the board name, I'm going to choose influencers. For the group ID, I'm going to choose influencers list. Then we can proceed to add the values on the columns on Monday. So the first column is the description, where we'll add its value, which is description right here. The second column that we'll add is the Instagram account link, where we'll add this link over here. We can even use it as our text. Then I'll click on add an item, and we'll add the title as our column and add this value and add the title as a value for our title column. I'll click on OK. We can proceed to send a personalized email to our influencers. So here I'll search for email and click on send an email module. I'll rename this email to influencer outreach email. And then here I'll click on OK. Then on this email, for the email address, we're going to add the email address right here. And then the subject line of the email could be in the lines of exciting collaboration opportunity. For the content type, we're going to choose plain text. And then for the content of the email, we can say, hi there. I'm Brandon from Lax Automation, and I've been following your work on Instagram. Your unique style and authentic connection with the audience truly stands out, especially the way you showcase sustainable fashion in your posts. We're currently looking to collaborate with talented influencers like you to create engaging that resonates with our audience. I believe your creative approach aligns perfectly with our brand's value, and I would love to discuss potential collaboration opportunities that could benefit both of us. If you're interested, I'd be thrilled to chat further and explore ideas together. Let me know if you'd like to set up a time to connect. Looking forward to the possibility of working together. Best regards, Brandon. So here I'll click on OK. This could be the email that we're sending to our influencers, asking them if they would like to collaborate. I'll choose to adjust our limit to, let's say, 3 emails. Then here I'll click on OK. And now here, I'll run this automation and add our influencers to our board right here, and then proceed to send them our influence outreach email. So to do that, I'll run automation once. Here, we got our emails we scraped earlier on our tool on Apify. Then we added the influencers on Monday right here. Then we proceeded to send them the influence outreach email right here. So on Monday, you can see that we added 3 more influencers to our board. So here we added their email, their title, the description, and the Instagram account link over here. And then we proceeded to send them, the 3 of them, a personalized email asking them for collaboration. So the email has a subject line as exciting collaboration opportunity. And then this is the content of the email that we are sending to our influencers. So with this simple automation, we've automated the process of scraping influencers from Instagram and then adding them to our board on Monday.com and sending them a personalized email asking them for collaboration. So with this simple automation, we've automated the influence outreach and collaboration process for a social media marketing agency. The next process that we're going to automate for a social media marketing agency is a client feedback and review process. We're going to create an automation that sends a feedback form created on Typeform to our clients to gather feedback of our services and gather the responses to Monday. So to automate the client feedback process, on our social media marketing agency system folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. On this scenario, I'll rename it to client feedback and review process. Here, I'll create a webhook that is triggered after the status of one of our clients changes to client feedback. So here, I'll search for webhooks and click on custom webhook. Here, I'll click on add, and then I'll rename our webhook to client feedback. And then here I'll click on save. Then I'll copy the link of our webhook and click on OK. And then on Monday, I'll click on integrate. And then I'll click on webhooks. And then I like to send a webhook after the status of one of our clients changes to client feedback. So I'll use this as our template. Here I'll use another account. And then I'll paste the webhook URL that we copied over here. So here I'll run a webhook. Then on Monday, I'll click on connect. Here it says fail to communicate with the URL provided. So here we'll return this challenge text using a webhook. So on webhook, I'll search for webhook response. And then here, I'll add 2 curly braces. And then here I'll write challenge. And then here I'll add our text. And click on OK. And then here I'll run our webhook again. Then on Monday, I'll click on connect. You can see it ran successfully. So I'll delete the webhook response and set up our webhook. So I'd like to send our webhook when the status of one of our clients changes to client feedback. And then I'll click on create automation. Now let us test if our webhook works properly. So I'll run our webhook. And then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to client feedback. And you can see that we are getting the specific client whose status we just changed. But we're not getting the rest of their data. Now to get the rest of their data, I'll copy the pulse ID. And then on Monday, I'll search for get an item module and click on get an item. I'll choose my connection. And then for the ID, I'll add the pulse ID. For the board ID, I'm going to choose smma clients as our board ID. Then click on OK. Now here, I'll run this module by pasting the pulse ID that we copied from our webhook and click on OK. And now you can see that we're getting the rest of the data right here. So we're getting their first name, last name, company name, their email, and their phone number. Now, we can proceed and send them a survey form that I've created on Typeform for them to fill in and give us feedback of our services. So on Typeform, I've created a survey form that I've renamed to Social Media Marketing Agency Clients Feedback Survey, where we're asking them a series of questions that will give us feedback of our services. So the first question that we're asking them is, how satisfied are you with our services? And then they can rate us from 0 to 10. The second question that we're asking them is, how likely are you to recommend our services to others? And then they can rate us from 0 to 10. And the third question that we're asking them is, how well did we communicate throughout the project? And then they're going to type in the answer right here. The fourth question that we're asking them is there anything else you would like to share about your experience with our services? And then here is where they're going to type in the answer. And lastly, we're asking them, do you have any suggestions for improving our services? And then they're going to type in their answer right here. Now, to get the ID of this form, click on share. And the link on our type form link over here, we'll copy the last part of our link. And then on automation here, I'll search for type form. And then I'll click on get a form module. Here I'll choose my connection. I'll paste the unique ID that we just copied over here. And then I'll click on OK. Now here, I can run this module and see if we're going to get our form. You can see we're getting our survey form right here. And the link that we're going to share to our client is this link right here. So here we can rename this module to client feedback survey form and click on OK. Now here we can proceed and send the feedback survey form to our client via email. So here I'll search for send an email module. Here I'll rename this email to client feedback email and click on OK. We'll add the recipient email of our client from Monday right here. And the subject line of our email could be on the lines of we value feedback. And then for the content type, we're choosing plain text. Then the content of the email could be on the lines of hi, first name. We're adding the first name from here from Monday. And then on the email, we're saying, as we strive to improve our services and ensure we're meeting your expectations, we'd greatly appreciate your feedback on our recent collaboration. Please take a moment to complete this brief survey. And then here we're adding the link to a survey form, which is this link over here. And then the rest of the email could be in the lines of your insights will help us understand what we are doing well and where we can enhance our offerings. Thank you for your time and input. If you have any additional comments or suggestions, please feel free to reach out. Looking forward to hearing from you. Best regards, Jessica. And click on OK. So this could be the email that we are sending to our client with the survey form link, asking them to fill in the survey and give us feedback of our services. To test if automation works, I'll run automation. Then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to client feedback. And here, you can see that automation ran successfully. We triggered our webhook after we changed the status of one of our clients to client feedback. And then we got their data right here. Here we got our form, and we sent the form to our client via this client feedback email over here. With the subject line, we value your feedback, and the content of this is the content of the email that we're sending to our client with the survey form link over here. The next process that we're going to automate is the upsell campaign process, where we're going to send our clients an email reminder about our services based on engagement and historical data. Now, to automate the upselling process, on our social media marketing agency system folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to upsell campaigns. Here, I'll create a webhook that is triggered after we change the status of one of our clients to client upsell. So here, I'll click on webhooks and I'll click on custom webhook. Here I'll click on add. Then I'll rename our webhook to upsell campaigns and click on save. Here I'll copy the link of our webhook and click on OK. And then on Monday, I'll click on integrate. Then here, I'll click on webhooks. I would like to send a webhook after the status of one of our clients changes to something, so I'll use this as our template. Here I'll use another account and paste the webhook URL that we just copied from Make over here. So here, I'll run our webhook. And then on Monday, I'll click on connect. It says fail to communicate with the URL provided. Now, to connect our webhook, here, I'll return this challenge text using a webhook response. Here, I'll add two curly braces. Here, with challenge. Here, I'll add all text and click on OK. Then I'll run our webhook again. Then on Monday, I'll click on connect. You can see it ran successfully, so I'll delete our webhook response and then set up our webhook. So I'd like to send a webhook when the status changes to client upsell. and here click on create automation. I'll run a webhook, then I'll change the status of one of our clients to client upsell. Here you can see we're getting the specific client host status we just changed. Now to get the rest of the data, I'll copy this pulse ID, and here on Monday I'm going to search for get an item module and click on get an item. I'll choose our connection, and for the ID I'm going to add our pulse ID. Then for the board ID I'm going to choose smma clients and click on OK. Here I'll run this module by pasting the pulse ID that we copied from our webhook and click on OK. And here you can see we're getting their data. So we're getting their first name, last name, company name, email, their phone number. Now with their data, we can send them an upsell notification email. So here I'll search for email and click on send an email. Name our email to upsell email. Then click on OK. And then for email, here for the recipient email, we'll add the recipient email of our client from Monday. And then the subject line of our email could be in the lines of exciting new services to enhance your experience. The content type we're choosing plain text. And then the content of the email is on the lines of hi first name. The first name is the first name of our client. Then the rest of the email is on the lines of I wanted to take a moment to follow up on our previous discussion and share exciting new services that we believe could greatly benefit your business based on our engagement and historical data. Given the success we've seen with your recent campaigns, we've introduced advanced analytics tracking and comprehensive social media management packages. These services are designed to help you achieve even greater results and maximize your online presence. If you're interested, I would like to schedule a brief call to discuss how these new offerings can align with your goals and drive more engagement for your brand. Thank you for your continued partnership. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Best regards, Jessica. And here, click on OK. Now, to test if automation works perfectly, I'll run our automation. Then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to client upsell. Here you can see that automation ran successfully. We triggered our webhook after we changed the status of one of our clients to client upsell. We got their data right here. We're using their data to send them this upsell email right here with this subject line. And this is the content of the email that we're sending to our client, trying to upsell them on some additional services that we are offering at our agency. So with this simple automation, we've automated the upselling process for a social media marketing agency. So these are all the processes that we've automated for a social media marketing agency. The first automation that we created, we were automating adding clients to monday.com after we capture them using Typeform and sending them a confirmation email using the email address they submitted on Typeform. The second automation that we created was a client onboarding system. In this automation, we're automating the process of creating a client's folder on Google Drive, creating a proposal, creating a contract, and creating an invoice on Stripe, and sending the client's folder, the proposal, the contract, and the invoice via email. We also set up a payment reminder email, reminding the client to clear the invoice after the due date has passed. The third automation that we created is a content calendar setup automation, where here we're automating the process of sending the client a scheduling link to schedule for a call to set up a content calendar. The fourth automation that we created was a content scheduling and publishing automation, where in this automation we're automating content scheduling and posting on social media platforms using Vista Social. The fifth automation that we created was an ad approval workflow, where in this automation, we're automating the process of sending an email to our client, asking them to approve the ads that have been created by our team. The sixth automation that we created was the influencer outreach automation, where in this automation, we are automating the process of scraping influencer emails and adding the emails to a board on monday.com, and also sending the influencers a personalized email asking them if they're interested in collaborating for a project. And the seventh automation that we created was an automation that automates the client feedback process, where in this automation, we are sending the client a survey form via this email so they can fill in and give us feedback on our services. And the last automation that we created was an upsell automation where we are sending our client this upsell email, upselling them on additional services that we're offering on our agency. So here are all the automations that we just created, automating a social media marketing agency. If you have an automation or a system in mind that you'd like for me to create, just comment down below in the comment section. I read all the comments, and if I land on your comment and I find it intriguing, I'll come back on a future video showing you how to create the entire automation or system from scratch. But for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.